Hello, Monday.
Alright, cool. Alright, do you guys have any other things any questions, any specific issues, technical stuff?
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I know my problem is I get flattened out a lot, and that's because I'm not getting my shoulder behind. Especially like going with somebody like John, and once he flattened me out, there was no space to get. You saw us getting frames in, trying to get frames in afterwards. You've never met John. Trying to get frames in afterwards there, it's tough.
It could be challenging.
Yeah.
Well, and again, that's where it's like, some of those concepts we talked about for just defensive maintenance. Dead cockroach, basically the first one I call it dead cockroach. Where I'm here, and I just wanna like glue my shoulder blades to the back of my head, and the back of my head to my shoulder blades, my elbows to my sides, my hands to my face, and just like let nothing happen, basically speaking. Allow for them to that's where you start having to play the psychic battle, which is that if I'm in a bad position, and a particularly bad variation of a bad position, say I'm in side control, they've gotten head control, I don't have range in, or I have like minimal range in, then I have to start thinking about preventing them from moving forward, so that in order for them to move forward, they would have to overcommit with their movement.
Right.
So that's kind of, I would say, the big thing. Like when you're rolling a guy who's that big, Shane's a good example of that. Shane, like if you're underneath Shane and if you're underneath Shane, you don't have range, or if you're in a real bad way, he's particularly good. But you have at least like some limit. Then it's like, okay, now the worst thing you can do is start trying to overcome. That's what's going to get you out. Right. So I would say the big thing again for you to work on is just making, when you're getting to the frames, like when you're at the point of having something close to the proper frames, is like not going halfway. Fight for those frames first. Because once you fight for those frames and you really compromise their ability to grab you, then you limit their options substantially. Versus if they still kind of have my head, if they still kind of have a control of me, it's always going to be a dogfight. So, yeah. Do you have any other things you want to do with that?
Yeah, I mean, like worst case scenario, right? Let's say you are flattened out.
Okay.
Maybe like getting your frames back in.
Sure. So let's talk about that. So what? Okay.
Yes. So like, let's say like they have you like completely wrapped up, like
Yeah.
monkey grip, and they got that. Then how?
Sure. So I have two things I'll address. So, Jim, let me get you on top of this. So number one. So my first thing that I will do from here, right, is that same sort of frame recovery that we did in the initial that drill, right? And Jim, go ahead and like put a lot of pressure on me. Go ahead. Yep. And actually, what I want you to do is this. So lift up for a second. Glue your right knee to my hip. I want you to take your left arm and cup on the underside of my armpit and pull it back. Yep. And now reconnect your hands. And then sprawl this hip to the floor. Yep. And now go ahead and keep your pressure. Like that's starting to become pretty effective, right? So this is kind of where you're talking. Like I totally screwed everything up. I'm in a bad way. Now, the first thing I can do. Well, let me just start out. We're gonna go kind of like best case scenario from this worst case scenario, and then we'll go even worse. We'll go from there. I need to obviously alleviate the shoulder pressure, or alleviate the shoulder pressure. So all I can. So go ahead and put your pressure on it. What I want to start doing is just kind of like press, like almost framing against that shoulder and moving my own head, right? You'll find, like, surprisingly, that will actually kind of keep you okay for a while. Also, let me note one thing. Until I'm ready to move this arm, I want to kind of just keep this pinched down. And I actually like to pinch it against my body, so almost like think of it like you're trying to trap their arm.
Okay.
Right? So I'm working here, going to get your pressure, and then if I can, I'm working low at the elbow, like right at the joint, 4 fingers in. What I'm aiming to do here is rotate this under and bring my shoulders that way.
Right.
One of two things is gonna happen. Either his hands are gonna break open, so say this time hold loose, his hands are gonna break open and his grip's gonna break. Or his hands are not gonna break open, so go ahead and hold tight. And so from there, I can start trying to work this frame in here, right? And start kind of shoulder walking. If I can get low to the elbow here, I can strip that grip.
Right.
And now same thing, I'm going down the other way, so it's off of my shoulder, and then wiggle to work to my grip.
Right.
So that's my go-to frame recovery from a full-on shoulder pressure, but obviously sometimes that doesn't work, right? So let's say I have you here, so I'm gonna get everything like we said, knee against the hip, hold the shoulder back, yep. And then what I want you to do, Jim, is instead of driving forward, think about settling your hips down, right, yeah, cool. So I'm here. So now I'm trying to do this, and it's not working. Now, this is kind of where being comfortable with being uncomfortable becomes important. What I'm gonna do from here is I'm going to hold on to his arm, I'm gonna hold on to his bicep, and I'm gonna glue the back of my head to the back of my shoulder blades, and I'm gonna hold on to him for a second. Jim, try to attack it. Okay. Basically speaking, what I'm gonna do, if I can't create the effective space I need, I'm gonna just squeeze. Like I said, I call that dead cockroach. I'm just gonna link myself to this person, and I'll go over where, because I don't want to wrap around them, but I'm gonna hold them at specific places that they can't retract their arms. What they will have to do is try to pick their upper body up to try to pull their arms free. Like imagine if you were down and your arms were held onto. How would you get your arms up? You would have to lift to create some shoulder movement. That's where we're going to use our opportunity to create. Right. One last thing. Well, actually, you know what? Let me note one thing. So again, what I'm not doing is, you can go first, Rowan. What I'm not doing is this. Like, this is total desperation, just like, okay, I have nothing else. So what I want to do is glue elbow to the elbow, fingers in on the bicep, and kind of pin that down. And then, actually, let me get you off for 1 second, is shoulder blades to the back of the head to the floor, and kind of here. Even if they pick up the arm to go to the choke, if they let go and pick up the arm to go to the choke, that's all the space you need to get your frames. So if he's on top, so again, if I'm here, I mean, it's like Jim, without lifting your shoulders up, like try to get your arms free. It's going to be very challenging, right? So eventually, he's going to try to pick his body up, and that's where my frames are coming, right? Now, let's say that doesn't work. So first stage is proper fundamentals, strip the grips, get your frame. Second is like, okay, well, he's not playing ball, so I'm going to fasten myself to him and force him to have to overcommit. But now we come against an opponent who's like doesn't care about getting the submission. All they want is, well, I have side control, so cool, man. Like, that's great. Let me get you on top. The next thing that I have in my repertoire that I kind of want to threaten him with is basically screwing up his position. There's two major ways that I like to threaten this. Number one, and actually I'll do the first one, because of where Jimmy's position here sets himself up really well. This is a little bit of a risky move because it does require you taking your arms out of your safe spot, but we've already covered, I can't do the fundamental thing, and I can't do the psychic battle thing, so I got to try to make some sort of space happen. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring one arm down to his knee, okay, like right at the mat. I don't want this up on the thigh, I want this right at the mat. I'm bring the other arm at the corner of his head. It's very important that I don't go to the neck. If I try to go to the neck for this movement, like, Jim, do not let me move your head. Okay? Do not let me move your head. See, now you know what's coming. Don't let me move your head. Right? If I go to the corner of the head, I can move it. If I go to the neck, nothing's going to happen. I'm going to do a big bridge, and I'm going to do both of those things at the same time. Basically, I'm going to wave my hands like I just don't care. Chop, and I'm going to back roll over my inside shoulder. And take a bow. Okay? This is most of the time not going to work. You'll catch some people with that. If you practice that and you just snap it at them, you will catch some people. But what will more than likely happen is he's going to widen this base, right? So I go here, boom, and I
Still have some, right.
I recover my guard. Right. It's also a really good setup to the ghost escape, but that's neither here nor there. Alternatively, if let's say he's here and both of his knees are kind of close to my body, so it's more like that kind of a side control situation. I mean, this one is still okay, but you see how by his knee is being wide, it's kind of hard to get my elbow down.
Right.
So from here, that's where that harpoon sweep, I think, becomes really strong. If his knee is up here, it means it's going to be easier to get this elbow in. So if I hip escape and I puncture that in, I can start to shrimp away, and as he follows me, I'm aiming for that. So let's see, don't jump for me. What I want you to think about doing is, as I go to away, try to push me back down.
Okay.
Yep, so I'm going away. And that's what's gonna give me that harpoon. If he blocks it, so we'll go back over. From here, I try to hit Muscades, push me, go for the harpoon, he settles his weight back,
Right, then you have the space to.
then I have the space. So, that's a lot of stuff, but basically speaking, you know, at least like go through the proper checklist. The checklist is correct frame recovery. I like 4 fingers of the bicep, head goes away from it. Pull that down, get that in, get that in, get that in. Good. So here, I'll get you, we'll go ahead and pause the video and then we'll work on it.
Sorry,
No, you're cool, man.
can I go potty?